What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Superman Action Comics 1047 and 48. We're going to be putting out two videos today. This one is going to be covering Action Comics. The next video is going to be covering Superman, Son of Kal-El. After the epic finale of the Warworld saga, we finally have the return of Kal-El, with him returning back home. He has not come back empty-handed. For those of you that have not been keeping up with everything going on with Superman, this is the perfect point for you guys to jump back on board. With these comics really feeling like the old days, this looks to be a very promising story arc. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so this story, it starts us off on Stryker Island. This is 1 week ago, and we have the sister of Metallo. She has come to Stryker's Island to see him. She does this every single week, and this is probably one of the worst shapes that we have seen Metallo in. Missing parts, barely able to even communicate because they took his voice box out. And while she would do anything she can to really help him out, he has no intention of getting help from anybody. But every single week, this is the one thing that he looks forward to. Even if he doesn't seem excited to see her, Tracy coming to see him is the one thing that he has to hold on to. That is when we see Warworld coming into Earth's atmosphere. It appears that Clark Kent, he has brought all the refugees back from there, bringing the entirety of Warworld outside of Earth. We jump 1 week ahead. We have some individuals that are stealing some equipment, believing that they got away with it, believing there is nobody that could catch up to them. That is when he arrives. The true Superman, Clark Kent himself, stopping these men from stealing and causing any more destruction, saving the life of a family. Superman has jumped right back into it, as if he had never even left. Not skipping a beat, Superman is back. And that is what takes us over to what is kind of a UN meeting, because right now the world is concerned about Warworld. The world has always trusted Superman's judgment, but his recent actions, bringing Warworld outside of Earth, this raises great concerns for the people of Earth, because the inhabitants of Warworld, these are people that have only known cruelty and bloodshed. And while many people can sympathize with Warworld, the concern, did Superman's decision bring a dangerous population directly to our doorstep? Today, they have gathered here to discuss what really they're going to do about this. And to give everybody some reassurance, that is where we have Superman coming in with the super family, being given the opportunity to speak. For so many years, they have not questioned the judgment of Superman, but with his most recent decision to bring Warworld here, that judgment is now in question. And so for those concerned, what Superman would say to them is to remember what they used to say about him, about so many individuals that have come to this planet. And even among the nations of Earth, entire populations fight such preconceived notions every single day. He does believe that he has a responsibility to the people of Warworld, most of them taken from their homes. They only want to either find their homes again or find a new forever home. And to do this, they need the help of Superman. Also letting them know that while he was on Warworld, he saw technologies he believes have immense value for all of Earth's future, with John and Natasha Irons having access to this technology in cooperation with Star Labs. They are constructing what they call the new Global Energy Research Institute in Metropolis. He is hoping that this will become the next leader in clean energy advancement and research. And while he gives this speech, of course, Lex Luthor is listening. He is listening, and he is sending out his drone, being able to put his consciousness more or less into this suit, go investigate what is going on Warworld. As he gets boots on ground and he really begins looking around, he cannot help but think to himself that this is what Earth would look like if it were not for him. This is his arrogance, this is his narcissism, believing that if the world didn't have Lex Luthor, this is how the world would look because of Superman. But as he investigates, he digs deeper into Warworld. He has come looking for the orphan box. He had heard about this at the time, though it didn't really pique his interest. But after Superman's announcement today, this is making him really reconsider what that box is, believing that with the right operator, the orphan box could be of great value to him. And so while he goes looking for this orphan box, Superman finishing up his speech, letting it be known that there are some individuals of Warworld that would like to stay on Earth. He is hoping that they will be welcome much like Superman is, that he understands everybody's concern, he understands everybody's worry, but he is giving them more or less the Superman guarantee that he will make sure everybody stays safe. Taking us to later that evening, we have Lois Lane and Clark Kent finally being able to spend some time together. As the two of them have their discussion, he is letting Lois Lane know that she is taking it very well because Clark has brought 2 children from Warworld to live with them. If Lois is being honest with herself, it has been nice to have some young children back in the house, because there are still mornings when she wakes up, she puts on the coffee, and she expects a young Jonathan to come running in with his little hoodie. When Jonathan is not right before her, her mind still plays tricks on her. And this has really been a reoccurring emotion for both Lois Lane and Clark Kent. Both of them have been dealing with Jonathan being aged up, with him being gone, coming back, and being almost an adult. And while Otha and Osel, the 2 children that they adopted, they may not be Jonathan, they may not be their biological blood. They still have Jonathan. They still have each other. But that doesn't make any of this any easier. One thing that they do know is that those children have nobody. Their family all died years ago. Superman told them the House of El Sigil was theirs as long as they wanted it, that they earned it. And so while they discuss their future, we jump back over to Stryker's Island. Metallo is getting a visitor that he doesn't get. That, of course, is Lex Luthor. Immediately, Metallo is letting him know that I don't want you here. Obviously, he can't convey this because he doesn't have his voice box. What he does do is on the little teleprompter next to him, it gives a readout of what he is saying, repeating over and over and over again to get out, laying the orphan box down on the table. This is who Lex Luthor wants to give the box to, believing that this is going to level up Metallo. He wants to make him whole again. He wants to make him the man with extraordinary talents again. He wants to take John Corbin and make him bigger than Superman. And that is where we jump into the next issue. Now, technically, this is part 3 of KAL-EL's return back to Earth. In the brand new story arc, this last issue, it was part 1. Part 2, that takes place during Superman's Son of KAL-El. But you don't necessarily need to read that issue to find out everything that is going on. More than anything, Superman's Son of KAL-El is just Jonathan being reunited with his father. But in this issue, we are picking back up at Stryker's Island. At this point, Metallo having a brand new body, being able to speak, this is not something that he wanted. This is not something that he even asked for. And he is telling Lex Luthor that whatever you want from me, I am not going to do it. That he is out. He is out of the game, out of the world, he's out of patience. Letting Lex Luthor know that you need to get out of here. Whatever it is you want, I am not here to help you. Lex Luthor knows the truth though. Metallo is dying. And so Lex Luthor proposes, do you want to live or not? Metallo letting him know that he doesn't want to live if it comes with strings attached to Lex Luthor. If living and dying comes with the permission of Lex Luthor, he would much rather die. Letting him know that when whatever you have planned fails, when Superman comes to kick your butt yet again, tell him I said hello. This is where we see Lex Luthor flip over the table. Usually a calm and collective individual, this is when he uses even some more leverage. Talking about Tracy, Metallo's sister, all he says is the next time she comes to see you, let her know I said hello. But we all know Lex Luthor, he gives very subtle threats. More than likely, this is a message to Metallo letting him know that if you don't work with me, your relationship with your sister will be non-existent. That is what takes us over to the Metropolis Zoo. We have Lois Lane sitting here with Otha Ra and Ulsa Ra, never knowing what a zoo is never knowing really what fun is. These kids have been born into chaos, battle, and brutality. And so what Lois Lane is trying to do is show them a little bit of the regular everyday life, to show them what fun and happiness is all about. This is when we have Bebo show up, sitting here playing with the kids, kinda just teasing them along, showing them everything that's going on, as well as introducing them to ice cream. These two kids that have been through more than anybody could ever possibly imagine, while they enjoy a little bit of just being a child on Earth. Superman thinks to himself about how he used to be so alone in this world, or at least that is how he felt for a very long time. But nowadays, he has come to know that he is one of the luckiest people on Earth. While he is up in space doing what he does best, he sees something on the horizon. At first, it appears to be nothing more than a star, but he gets a better look at it. He sees that light, the energy signature that is coming off of it. He knows that they are about to have company. As the kids and Lois Lane are down on Earth doing what they do at the zoo, Bebo kind of messing with them, just letting them know about all of the animals, kind of exaggerating what the animals are and what the animals do. That is when there is a giant boom, and we have the minions of Apocalypse that have showed up, with Bebo standing up for the children, protecting them and making sure that nothing happens to them, telling these gods that they need to leave. As Caliban goes in to strike him, that is where we have the arrival of Superman. Orion telling Superman that it is tragic he survived the trials of Olgren. Superman doesn't waste any time, telling Orion that he needs to explain himself. Why come all the way from Apocalypse? But this is when he learns it's not just Apocalypse, but also New Genesis, with Metron letting him know, for the sake of a few million slaves, he has endangered all of creation, and now the new gods must decide what they are going to do with him. Superman letting him know, I don't know how I endangered all of creation, but what he does know is that he does not answer to Metron or New Genesis. Metron going on to let him know that he set out to topple Warworld, knowing nothing of its origins or of its importance. He had read their ancestors' secret writing, followed it all the way to Necropolis, and he awakened a power that should have been sleeping for all time. He stole the fire of Olgrun, going on to let him know that the fire of Olgrun must never awaken, kinda like Voldemort from Harry Potter. One of the 7 aspects of Olgrun have been awakened. It has been awakened inside of Superman, because at this point, they all believe the fire of Olgrun is inside of Clark Kent, and they believe the madness that once took Olgrun will in time take over Superman as well, that it is inevitable at this point. But this is when they finally see that Superman doesn't have the fire. Also, Ra has the fire inside of him. We saw this in Action Comics a couple issues back. If it had not been for the fire of Olgrun, the boy would have died. Superman felt as if he had no other option. And so Orion letting Superman know, if you have made the boy into one of us, then he must come with us. Orion telling him that he is here with a purpose. Superman unable to really tell the difference between his own son Jonathan and this kid trying to be taken away. He remembers when Jonathan was taken away. He remembers what happened after all of that. This is kind of like a little bit of PTSD for Superman, recognizing the last time he let a child go away with somebody because of some greater purpose. He suffered greatly for it. Jonathan suffered greatly for it. Because of this, there is no way in hell that Superman is going to let this boy go anywhere. As Orion goes and tries to grab the boy, we see Superman laying down the hate, breaking Orion's face. This is when the fight starts to break out. The minions of Apocalypse descending down on Superman. We are jumping back over to Stryker's Island. As the guards are doing their paperwork for the evening, they are recognizing that Tracy never never showed up to see Metallo. His sister did not show up. This is definitely out of the ordinary because she always shows up every single week. And then Lex Luthor shows up and all of a sudden, she's not there. Metallo knows exactly what this means. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, for those that have been following the channel, been following Action Comics, you know I have been a big fan of the War World saga. I think it really did, it showed the best aspects of who Superman is. The best traits, the best of his ability. Now, there's still a lot of information that we really haven't got yet. Is Superman fixed back up? Because when he left for War World, he was in a very, very damaged state, if you will. His power was not at 100%. It was almost as if he was dying. But he did get imbued with the fire of Olgren, at least for a moment. So we don't know if this brought his power back. We don't know anything at this point. There is a possibility that he is still not at 100%. But this is definitely feeling like the older comics. We're getting people from Apocalypse, people from New Genesis. They're all coming in because of the fire of Olgren. Now, we don't understand the full scope of this, but there appears to be 7 aspects. They broke Olgren into 7 pieces, scattered it across the galaxy, hiding each piece away, hoping that they would never come back together. And we can see even when one of the 7 aspects are found, this sends out a signal. It sent one out to Apocalypse, to New Genesis. They see that a new god is coming up. What they also haven't explored is that a lot of the people on Warworld, a lot of those people, they began on Krypton, leaving before Krypton had been destroyed. Now that they are under the yellow sun, are we gonna see a lot more Supermen starting to pop up? Will their Kryptonian roots really show what they are truly capable of? We have already seen this to be the case throughout Action Comics. More than likely, we're gonna see these individuals go find their own homeworld somewhere out in the galaxy. At the very least, we're probably gonna see them go and find their own thing. But what this is saying is that there is a whole lineage of Kryptonians, or at least at once upon a time, they were Kryptonians. And so the universe is getting just a little bit bigger. There are people that are gonna be capable of having the power that Superman has. And I really hope that somebody does something with that. It would be a shame to see these characters really just thrown to the wayside with the ending of the War World saga. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with Action Comics. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.